Hello everyone, my name is Miss Nguyen. I am delighted to be your English 1101 online instructor this semester. I would like to welcome you all to the semester, and I hope that together we will have a great, meaningful and productive semester. This should be the first video that you will view in my class this semester. The purpose of this video is to introduce you to our course online in Blackboard, and I will also give you an orientation, or rather a navigation around our course in Blackboard, so that you have an idea of how to navigate the course, how to retrieve things, how to obtain certain information, how to take a quiz, or just do your different assignments. So we have a lot to cover, but it is very, very important that you listen or you view the entire video so that you won't miss any crucial information that you probably need down the road. And of course, this video is available for you to watch again, or just watch different parts if you should forget how certain information that I will be covering in this video. Alright, so if you will look at the screen with me, you'll see that I am open to our course. I am in student preview mode. So this is not exactly what I see as an instructor, but this is what you see, or this is how the course is presented to you in Blackboard as a student. Um, so I thought that, it'd be easier or more convenient to give you the student view, to give you the view that you will get used to seeing. All right, so on the left-hand side here, you see quite a few tabs. I would point out that the most important tab is, of course, the course content, and I will um, walk you through the content in a little bit, but I also like to point out the course syllabus, course information, as well as the email and my grades, which is, of course, where you go to check your grades, hopefully frequently throughout the semester. All right, so first let's take a look at the course syllabus. Okay, here is where you go to find the syllabus. Once you click on this, the syllabus will download in its entirety as a Microsoft Word document. Please make sure that you read as much of the syllabus as you can, and be aware of important policies such as attendance policy. Because this is an online class, of course, you don't have to attend a physical classroom, but attendance and participation does count. And I'll explain what that means in a little bit. Okay, so I have the syllabus pull up here. I'm just gonna go down to the parts that I want to draw your attention to. Please be aware that you must purchase a textbook for this course, and here's the textbook information, the College Writer, A Guide to Thinking Writing, in the 6th edition. It is available in our school bookstore, so please get a copy as soon as you can, preferably during the first week of the semester. And if you look down here under evaluation, you have a list of all of the assignments that you will be performing this semester, and how much each of the assignments is worth. You'll be writing a total of 3 short essays, all of which comprise 30% of the final grade. The essays are cause and effect essay, persuasive, and literary analysis. You have a total of 4 quizzes throughout the semester. Each quiz is 5%. Together, they'll make up 20% of your final grade. You also have a QP scavenger hunt, that's 5%, an oral presentation, another 5%, a research paper, 20%, and the final exam, 20%. So all of these um, come out to be 100%, of course. So as you can see, you cannot really afford to miss any if you can afford to miss many assignments, if any at all. Let's say you miss one essay, okay, you forfeited 10% of the course. If you miss one of the shorter essays, the most that you can get as your final grade, in a perfect world, if you did everything perfectly, would be a 90. So let's say you missed 2 essays, that's 20% of your final grade. So that brings your the highest possible grade that you could earn at the end of the semester is an 80. Now that is if you did everything perfectly with 100, okay? And that never happens. Let's say you missed an essay and a quiz, or an essay and the scavenger hunt, or an essay and the oral presentation. That's 15% of your final grade that you forfeited, which means the most that you could earn is a B, which is an 85. Again, if you did everything perfectly. Okay, and that never happens. And if you miss a research paper and one of the shorter essays, or if you miss a research paper and two quizzes, any one of those combinations will have you forfeited 30% of your final grade. And again, if you miss 30% of the coursework, you will fail the course. Okay, so it's not advisable, right? So make sure that you're always aware of how much each assignment is worth, right? So that you can determine if you can afford to miss any of the assignments at all. And if you should happen to miss for any reasons, okay, then make sure that you are aware of where you stand, or what grade you can possibly get after the missed assignment is accounted for. You scroll down here, I want to bring your attention to the attendance policy. Now, the school has instituted a participation rule, and as a shorthand, we call it the 10% rule. For a regular semester, if we were a face-to-face class, you could not miss more than three class meetings or 3 days of class. But we are an online class, so how does the 10% rule, the participation rule work? Now we are a 15-week class. We are in the spring semester, so if you miss 2 weeks or more of active participation, you will be withdrawn from the course. Okay. What that means is, well, every week you will have something to do in our class. Okay, whether or not it's for a grade or not for a grade, it's irrelevant, right? Some assignments or some activities you will be asked to do that will not count for a grade, such as participating in a discussion board, right? Even though it may not count for a grade, it does count for participation. So if I see that, so every week you have at least one participation assignment or one discussion board, just one class activity that you have to do. And if you miss 2 weeks or two activities that are spread in 2 weeks, right, then you're missing 2 weeks or more of active participation and you will be withdrawn. Okay, so make sure you understand that even though this is an online class, right, you're not only doing the works that count for a grade, you are also compelled to participate in some meaningful way that may not count for a grade, but you are compelled or you are required to participate in those activities as well. And if you don't, your lack of participation will serve as grounds for your withdrawal if you miss 2 weeks or more of such activities. Also, another thing to keep in mind, and I cannot stress this enough, I am very, very, very strict about deadlines. I do not bend to anybody's excuses, okay, or requests for an extension. Everybody in this class will be treated equally. Everybody will do the same amount of works. Everybody will have the same amount of time in which to do the works and submit them. Okay, so do not request me. Do not make any request to me during the semester for any extension. Now, of course, there are exceptions for extenuating circumstances for which you have documentation. Extenuating circumstances e- uh, include hospitalization, right? Extensive hospitalization. Now, if you have a child who is sick and you had to take him or her to, a doctor's appointment for one day, or if you have, say, a court appointment on a specific day, those do not count as extenuating circumstances because those situations, require your only one day of commitment of your time. Okay, and the reason I will not accept such documentations for that kind of situations is because this is an online class, and you will see in a minute that that I have a course calendar planned out for the entire semester, in which you know week by week, every single week from now until the end of the semester, when is due, what is due when. All right, so you have that entire information. The course is planned out for the entire semester for you. You have all the due dates already set in place. So there's no way. Um, so you have to use that information to plan for your time, to plan for contingencies such as any number of situations that may occur, right? So by extenuating circumstances, I will only take, like I say, extensive medical treatment or hospitalization and things like that. All right, traveling out of town, not having internet connection do not count as extenuating circumstances, and they will not be accepted. Okay, so like I said, so that's really the only class policy. Well, of course there are other things as well, but that's really um, the main information that you need to know um, for being in my class, in that I'm very strict with deadline. I expect everyone to respect deadline. Um, I do not adjust the deadline for anyone except for extenuating circumstances that I've already explained. And also, I do not accept emailed assignments. Every single assignment does have its own designated submission place, be it a discussion board or a Dropbox, and they need to be in the designated submission place. I do not accept emailed submission, so please keep that in mind. All right, so that is the syllabus. Let's go back to our homepage. Now, course information is very, very important as well. Here I have the module calendar, which is the calendar that has all of the important due dates and all of the weekly activities planned out for you for the entire semester. So I recommend, or I highly recommend that you download this during the first week of class, this course calendar, and you print it out and you keep it in a place where you can easily retrieve it. Okay, because this is an online class, you need to log into the course at least 2 or 3 times a week. You need to always check the current week, what we're doing in the current week, right? So the weeks are delineated according to in chronology, and they also have their dates. Now, each week for me begins on Monday and ends on Sunday. Many of your assignments will be due on Sunday, but that's not to say all assignments will be due on Sunday. Okay, so that's how the week progresses for me. It begins on Monday and it ends on Sunday. Okay, so as you can see, each week I have there are things that you need to do, and there are also and on some weeks there are things that you need to submit. Now, things that you need to submit in the column that says due date, okay, the due dates um, are for assignments that you need to submit. Okay, now for activities that you need to do but do not have a due date, it should be understood that if an assignment or an activity is required but does not or is not but is not accompanied by a due date, you should understand it uh, as um, as the completion of the expected completion date for the activity should be understood as the end of the week in which it occurs. So let's say this course orientation video, okay, you need to watch, all right, which is this video, doesn't have a due date, right? But you should understand that I expect for you all to have viewed this video by the end of week 1, which is um, by January 15, which is a Sunday. All right, so that's how it works. Okay, so please always be aware of the current week and also look ahead of the next week, to kind of keep yourself on track so that you don't get behind, because you see that some weeks you have multiple assignments due. Okay, and some weeks you don't have any graded assignment due. Okay, so like I said, this is probably one of the most important items in the course that you're going to have to constantly refer to. Okay. Other things in course information is also important. How to succeed in my class. Please take a few minutes to read these over. I have quite a few tips to give you all, and this is just based on my experience of teaching over the years, and I've tried to include as many tips as I could think of over the years, or any, instances that reminded me, I try to include in order to help you all out. Well, in order to kind of help you have an idea of how you should work in my class and my expectations and the specific things that you should do to kind of um, to make sure that you're progressing well in my class. Okay, so please, if you have a few minutes, 5, 10 minutes, read this over and revisit them, because I don't expect for you to remember them, because it is quite a lengthy list, because I do have a lot of tips, and I'm very, very specific, but it is here in course information for your reference. So just keep checking back into them. Documentation of technical issues. All right, so we are an online class, which means that everything is done online. I deliver my instructions online. Uh, you will perform your works online, you submit your works online. And so, of course, we have to have a conversation about, um, you know, about the probability of you encountering or experiencing technical issues. And it does happen sometimes, but not as regularly as you may think. All right, so technical issues are issues that emanate from the system itself, be it Turnitin system or the Blackboard system. Technical issues, and I emphasize this, do not include, your internet connection issues, your personal computer crashing kind of issues, or your computer skills or lack of basic computer skills issues. Those are not technical issues. So by technical issues, I only mean issues that the learning management systems that we use um, generate for you. All right, so these systems are Turnitin drop boxes that you'll be using to submit um, to submit your essays and research paper, and Blackboard, which is the online platform or online system that we use to run the course. All right, so by technical issues, I mean only the issues that are generated by these two systems. Okay, so to reiterate, technical issues do not mean internet connection issues that you have, in just individual ones, personal computer issues that you have, um, laptop issues, connection issues, computer skills issue, or any other miscellaneous personal use personal user issues. They do not count. So anyway, if you should ever, if the Blackboard system or Turnitin Dropbox should ever generate or give you an error message as you try to, for example, submit your essay, then you need to immediately, before you do anything else, take a screenshot. Here it tells you what you need to do, how to document it. Take a screenshot of it. Make sure that the screenshot clearly shows the message so that I can read it. Make sure that the screenshot also has a date and time stamp in the bottom right hand corner, and the course registration number, so that I can ensure that the error message so that I can ensure that your attempt occurred before the deadline, because sometimes the system will Turnitin will give you an error message if you try to submit an assignment late after the Dropbox has already closed, right? And you have no way of knowing that, because it gives you an error message as if something is wrong with the system, right? Even though what happens is you're trying to turn in the assignment late. So that's why I need to see the date and timestamp to make sure that your attempt or the error message was given um, before the deadline is due, because you attempted to submit something before the deadline is due. And you email me the screenshot, right? I will analyze it. I will make sure that it is authentic, that it represents an honest attempt and an honest um, technical issue experience, and if the documentation turns out fine and you really did experience a technical issue, then I will um, give you an extension to resubmit or to submit your work to me so that you don't miss any grade opportunities. Okay, so this information is, like I said here, for you to refer to anytime. Okay, the other two important links in course information is my website that contains all of my instructional materials. Okay, so let's go here. So throughout the semester, you will frequently click on this link and you will go to English 1101 and you will see all of my PowerPoints and handouts here. Okay, so say if on the course calendar I asked you to view the cause and effect essay PowerPoint, then this is where you go to download that PowerPoint and view it. So you look under cause and effect and you find cause and effect writing PowerPoint. You download it and you view it. Okay, so this is where you go to get my PowerPoints and other handouts throughout the semester. Miss Nguyen's video lectures take you to my YouTube English 1101 lectures page, right? So this is where, and I will continuously update this page, right? But this is where you go to get certain video lectures from me on various topics of the course, right? So this link, so the link to my YouTube videos and the link to my instructional materials are two links that you should frequently or often visit throughout the semester. Instructor contact is where you can immediately get contact information, my contact information. If you need to reach me immediately, call this number, email me. Email is my preferred method. I reserve 48 hours to respond to your email, but I usually will email you in less than will email you back in less than 48 hours, unless we're talking about the weekend. So of course the work week begins for us on Mondays and ends on Thursdays. So if you send me an email after Thursday, after 3, on Thursday after 3, I will not receive it until Monday when I come back to work. Okay. Announcement is a very important feature here. I don't have any announcement here yet, but because this is an online class, every week I will have at least 1 or 2 announcements. So when you log into our course every week or every other day, at least 2-3 times a week or every other day, the first thing you need to look for is my announcement to see if you have any new announcement from me. My announcement will either be written or recorded, right? But they will be short and straight to the point, and usually they will remind you what to do for that week. But make sure that you always check my announcement, right? A lot of you, or I've had a lot of students email me with questions that I've already addressed in the announcement, which tells me that they did not view my announcement. And it can be annoying, but not that I mind receiving or answering the same questions over and over and over again, but I would like for you to self-help, to help yourselves first, to be proficient or efficient in getting the course information and staying on top of things. And you cannot really achieve that goal unless you do what you're supposed to do and you check the things that you're supposed to check. All right, before I go to course content, let me quickly please ignore this calendar. This calendar is the Blackboard calendar, and it will have different dates that will confuse you. The only calendar that you should be concerned with throughout the semester is the course calendar right here, is the module calendar or the course calendar, okay, that I've asked you to download and to print and to constantly refer to. But this is the Blackboard calendar, and please ignore it. And the Blackboard should also give you any kind of alerts for due dates or assignments that are not on our course calendar. Please ignore it as well. So like I said, go by our module calendar, our course calendar that I just showed you. Okay, ignore everything else that Blackboard tells you. All right, my grades is where you go to check your grade. Email is where you go to quickly email me. Right? Once you click on email, you have quite a few options. You can certainly email other classmates, other people in the class. You can email individual persons in the class, or you can email just me, the instructor. Okay, so that's your different option. So let's say you want to email me. Okay, you click on that, and automatically my information will populate in the recipient's line. Please provide a subject and then the text box and click submit. Or let's say you want to email certain individuals in the course. You click on select users, then this is what you will see. You choose the persons that you want to email. Let's say, okay, I'm just going to randomly choose this person. You click on their name, and then you click on this arrow to transfer them to the selected recipients box. And once you've selected all of your recipients, all right, just move them over, okay? Then you can uh, then you can start composing your message. All right. Okay, so let's go to course content. All right, course content now, because this is an online class, you need to, during the first week, you need to do your participation assignment. And I think it's on your course calendar. It's due it's due Sunday. It's due on Sunday. This assignment doing this assignment, regardless if you do well or not, will enable you to remain in the class. If you miss this assignment or you don't do it, you will be dropped from the class. So that's really the only purpose of the participation assignment. Okay, now you have the QB digital literacy module. You have the first module here. Let me show you what it looks like. So each module that you click in will look something like this. You have the table of content that lists all of the items contained in this module, right? So whatever item you click on, you'll see the actual content of that item. Okay, so you have quite a few here. Each module will also have their reading assignments. The reading assignments tells you what chapters to read for this module. And then you have just some instructional materials. Then you have your quiz in this module. Then you have your, here is the discussion, no, that's the, and then you have some discussion board too. Okay, so this is a discussion board. For example, to participate in the discussion board, you click on click to launch. Hmm. Okay, this is a little bit, okay, let me open this. Okay, so once you click on open, you click on create thread. Okay, and then when you create the thread, you will be able to post it to discussion board. Okay, so you provide a subject for your post, and then you type your response, and then you click submit. And then it will submit to the discussion board, and then there your participation for the assignment is recorded. Okay, let me go back into the module. Right, and then of course the last thing in this, and of course there is at least one essay due in every module, or one paper due in every module. In this module, the first module, for example, your cause and effect essay is due, and this is where you submit your essay. It is a Turnitin Dropbox. You click on that, you click on view assignment. Now I'm seeing this because I'm in student preview mode, but you should not see this. Okay, but this is the kind of error message that I'm talking about. That error message is system generated, right? So if you ever receive something like that, you would want to document it, showing all the details that are required. All right, so let's go back here. I want to go back here, and one item that is very, very important that appears in all of the other modules is this, the general guidelines for course compositions, and it's something that I want you to visit, to revisit and to remind yourself of before every essay is due. Okay, now this gives you a general idea of the types of essays that you write and how long they need to be. Okay, the research paper needs to be at least this many words, and each of the shorter essays need to be at least 500 words. And these are some general guidelines for all the essays. They all have to have a logical development, appropriate structure. They have to follow MLA style. They have to be at least the minimum, word count. And the 20% rule. Now, if any of your essays will have quotations, your quotations cannot be more than 20% of your entire essay. If they are more than 20%, then I will take up points. And please try to revise and edit your essay before you submit them. All essays must not contain first person or second person pronouns or the reflexive forms. For each of these pronouns present in any of your essays or research paper, I will take up 1 point. So what I mean by that is none of your essays should contain pronouns such as I, me, you, us, we, ourselves, myself. Okay, those are informal personal pronouns, right? And they have no place in academic writing, or at least I don't think they should. So if I see any one of those words, those pronouns in any of your essays, I will take up at least 1 point. Now, if any of your essay contains an excessive number of such pronouns, right? Then I will stop grading after I've counted 20 of such pronouns. Then after that, I will assign you a failing grade for that assignment. So please make sure that you are mindful of this rule. Okay, so many of my students forget about this, and I've reminded them in an announcement to please check or revisit the general guidelines for course compositions. So please don't be careless, right? Make sure that you confine or conform to certain standards or certain guidelines before you submit any of your essays, because you don't want to have any kind of points deducted that you could have prevented had you been more careful. Right? That's the kind of oversight that I loathe to see, but it happens so many times. All right. So again, like I said, before you submit any of these essays, make sure that you are able to see, make sure that you revisit this site. All right. One more thing that I want to show you that's very, very important. But it requires me to exit out of student preview mode so that you see the course as I see it, which is a little bit slightly different, but the content is exactly the same. So let me go, for example, back into module 1, and let me open up a Turnitin Dropbox, such as the cause and effect essay Dropbox. All right, so that you can see it. As you can see, I'm not receiving the error message because I'm in the mode that I'm supposed to be in, as opposed to student preview mode. All right, so I have here, because I'm an instructor, I have all of the students here. When you log in, when you are in an essay Dropbox, right, you should see only your name here. You should not see any other person's names, only your name. Right now the status is active. The status of the Dropbox is active, which pretty much means open, because this essay is not due until March, until the due date posted here. All right. So please check for the due date posted there. Right now, once the due date or the deadline has passed, the status will say completed, not active. Completed means closed. So active means it's open, right? But after the deadline has passed and the Dropbox closes, the status will say completed. What that means is completed. Many students in the past has mistaken the completed status to mean that they have completed their submission. The status has nothing to do with whether or not you've submitted your paper. Okay, now to submit your paper, after you submit your paper, you should see something here. Okay, something here to indicate that Turnitin is, scanning your paper, but you should see some kind of mark, some kind of icon here after you've successfully submitted your essay. But of course, if you're familiar with Turnitin also as a Dropbox, it also functions as a plagiarism detection device, right? It scans your paper against all of the other, against content that it has in its system, as well as content on the web, right? And it generates an originality report. in the form of a percentage, okay? Such as, your paper can get 0%, meaning that none of that, meaning that your paper does not contain any words or any content that is similar to what the system has or that's similar to what's online. Some of you may have, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, whatever, okay? But it should give you the number. Now, of course, those number does mean something, okay? Sometimes it may mean that you plagiarize, or sometimes it may mean that you have too many quotations. Remember the 20% rule. You don't want, if you're using quotations, you don't want your quotations to make up more than 20% of your final grade, right? So that rule is, I've just gone over that rule. So please make sure that you always remember that before you submit an essay. But anyway, please utilize. I've I made the Dropbox so that after you make your submission before the deadline, you are able to see Turnitin's originality report for your own paper, right? So if you see that you have 25%, right? You want to go back into, you want to click on your paper and see where, see what that 20%, what 25% means. It may mean that you have some plagiarized parts or plagiarized passages, or it may means that you have too many quotations, right? But use your own ability to see your originality report to guide your revision decision before the deadline, right? So let's say you made a submission to the Dropbox, you see that you had too many quotations, or that you didn't realize that you had plagiarized here and there, as Turnitin reports show you, right? And you want to revise it, right? You want to cut out those portions, right? So that you won't get penalized for it, okay? So if you want to submit a revised version, you have to email me and let me know that you want to make another submission so that I can delete your original submission. Okay? Once I deleted your original submission, you are clear to submit your revised version. But I will tell you this. If you made a request for me to delete your original submission and you fail to upload or to submit a revised version of your paper before the deadline, it is as if you've never made a submission at all. Okay, so do not plead to me, to act to give you another chance because you did make an original submission, but you had it deleted, right? It does not work like that. Once a submission is deleted, you are back to square one, right? You are viewed as if you have no submission at all, as if you have not made a submission. So please be aware of that. And I think that is all I have to tell you about the course. I hope I've covered all of the important information. I know I didn't cover everything, but please review this. But I know that I've given you a lot of information. But this video is here for you to watch over and over again, maybe not in its entirety after the first time, but revisit some parts if you should forget any of the information that I've discussed here, and I've chosen to discuss the more important ones. Okay, I look forward to having a great semester with you all, and if you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to contact me. Like I said, I am here to help you. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to instruct, but I'm also here to facilitate.